Click this button to show. All right. Let's see. I'm really not that experienced in this live video stuff, so bear with me. I'm here. Let's see, nobody's in here. I'm here because I wanted to answer some of y'all questions. Like I get a lot of questions in my comments, and I'm just not the type of person to sit through my comments because I feel like it'll take me forever. And most of the time, I'm trying to come up with good ideas for videos for you guys. So I really just don't have time to comment. So this is the place where hopefully if y'all have some questions, I can answer them better here. Let's see how long it takes to get some people in here. In the meantime, I'm gonna go through my comments and so George, uh today I'm just answering anybody's questions about what firearms. I get so many questions. I probably got 100,000 or more in my comments that have not been answered. It would literally take more than my lifetime to probably get through all these questions. So, whatever questions you have or anybody else has, you can ask me right here. I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. And if y'all don't know, like I've been shooting since I was about 5 years old. So I'm assuming most of y'all here are for gun questions. And so, I mean, I've never been like the professional, like John Wick type style training, but all my experience is like hunting. So most of it is hunting. All my first guns were guns to go hunting and stuff like that. And then once I joined the military and I was old enough and I started like traveling, I started getting self defense pistols and stuff like that. And I spent a lot of time shooting all my life, just regardless. Uh, so I'm not gonna say like I'm a professional, but I would say I have a lot of experience with guns, and I personally have owned probably about 200 guns or so by now. So, come on, boy, Wani. I ain't going hunting this year yet, bro. But it's cold now, and where I do go hunting in the northern part of Nevada, as soon as we hit a hard snow, and if y'all don't know, whenever a hard snow hits, whenever you hunting for small game, like I like to do, because it's too hard to hunt for big game in Nevada. Uh, the snow it'll usually kill all the weaker or the bad. We would call it bad, like small game. So if you hunt rabbits, like I like to hunt, usually they'll die off on that first hard snow or first hard cold night. So hunting season, I think officially start like the end of September. So it should be open now. But once you hit a good freeze that night, man, you good to hunt for the rest of the year until hunting season is over. So I'm about to go. If you're going to shoot a coyote, all right, this is from George. Say if you were going to shoot a coyote with 5.56, would you use 55 grain FMJ or 62 grain green tip? All right, that's a pretty good question. Now, honestly, if I'm going to shoot a coyote, I would not use either one. I would get some varmint rounds. They have like 55 grain, I think, is a common weight in varmint rounds. And I've shot rabbits and coyotes with both just to see the difference. Like even just the dead bodies, like I'll shoot both just to see how much more damage a varmint round will do. And the varmint rounds do literally like 10, 20 times the amount of damage on those type of animals. So I wouldn't use FMJ. I wouldn't use steel core 62 grain because it's just going to leave such a clean hole that you might not get your kill the way you want. And it would cause, suffering that doesn't have to happen for the animal. I would go with straight varmint rounds. And once you shoot one with a varmint round, you'll see why. Or at least hollow point or some sort of round that'll leave a lot more energy in the target. Like Lehigh Defense is one of my favorite makers for rounds, especially for 5.56 and 2.23. And they have one called Controlled Chaos. That's one I personally keep mine loaded with for home defense. And I would shoot a coyote with something like that. What up, John from Tennessee? What up, bro? All right, let me see what I got questions in my comments online. This is a question about my one of my funny videos where I grab a gun going running after home intruders and there's a pistol in there. And this guy says, "And what's that you grab?" He say, "Where's the 30 clip? You don't know how many broke in." Keep in mind in this video, people or someone broke into my house. And he's asking, "Where's the 30 clip?" Now, and I'm grabbing a in that video, I think I grab a SIG P365 that hold 12 rounds. Now, I always talk about this. I have a video specifically about this, like how I think carrying long extended mags are kind of dumb. Like, I mean, unless you like in a gang and you constantly got, the ops after you like that, like, bro, is really just nothing you could legally empty anyway. So the guy asking me where's the 30 round mag, bro, I honestly don't see a predicament where you're gonna need 30 rounds. And I know, like, some people might feel a certain type of way about that. But even if, like, let's say three people break into your house in the middle of the night and you pop out with even a revolver that only holds 5 or 6 rounds, I almost promise you, unless they dare just specifically to kill you, like as soon as you let off one round, they all running. Like if you watch real home defense videos, like I've watched tons, even for videos on YouTube. I just sat there and watched 100 back to back, and every time somebody lets off one round, they are running, bro. So yeah, for a 30 round mag, you asking where is that? Just in case multiple people broke in, I just don't see that as a reality. I see that as something that in the movies y'all thinking like people gonna be shooting back and forth inside a house, when in reality it's like you come out, you blast, you shoot one round, even if you miss, and all these people that's in your house are out of there because they ain't there for a gunfight. They there to steal your, maybe a computer or phones or, whatever they want to steal, money, hopefully. But they really not there thinking they about to be fighting for their life. And they not there for that. They'll be out of there, in my opinion. 99% of the time, I'm saying they there uh not for a gunfight. You let off one round, they out of there. Let me see. George, how many rounds per month do you shoot to keep up your skill level? Man, it's super hard to say. It varies so much. I would say, and it varies because when it's hunting season, I'm out there hunting, and I might go, yeah, I don't know, a few hundred rounds per month. I would say maybe like, yeah, 2 or 300. But then when I'm just having months where I'm just going out shooting, or sometimes I even go like long range shooting, man. Long range shooting, if I'm concentrating on that, man, you might go and I might spend 4 hours out there and I might only shoot like 10 rounds because it's taking me so long to set up a target at, 500 or 1,000 yards. So it varies, probably from anywhere from like 2 or 300 rounds a month to maybe like, yeah, I'd say on a heavy month where I'm just shooting a lot, maybe like 2,500 rounds a month, something like that. Uh, Let me see. What up, Coach Lamont? Uh, yeah, I'm with you, bro. You say you see invaders running from 5 rounds. I'm telling you, I see them running from one, like usually in a home invasion. And when I say usually, I'm saying 99 plus percent during the home invasion. 1 round equals no more home invaders, whether you hit or miss. It is truly just important that you let off at least a round or something that they think is a gunshot, and they out of there. Like I don't see it like in the movies where they holding your kids hostage and stuff, and it's a tense stare down or something. Where it is literally just fumbling in the dark, and most of the time nobody hits anybody. I mean, there's some cases where they hit. I'm actually working on this one interview right now of a lady who shot someone, but she was just waiting at a table or something like that, waiting for the guy to finally kick in the door. And as soon as he did. She shot with a shotgun and I think square in the chest. But usually if it's multiple people in your house, like in the, how some people envision. You're probably so on edge and so nervous, you probably fire one round miss and everybody run out of there. And Wanda, you say, do they have ducks out here this way? They do. I don't hunt them out here. I don't like the taste of duck that much, so I don't hunt them. But they got them. They got lakes and ponds and stuff like that. But yeah, I ain't looking for no ducks. You see, bro. What other questions in the comments? Uh, Pocket virus legal. Oh, okay. Then this is a question. This is a video where I show how uh you can have somebody at gunpoint with like a crossbody bag, which is like the fanny packs that you wear across your chest, and you could actually carry it like this, and you could have your gun in your hand, and nobody will know. Maybe they have suspicion that you have a gun, and if you angle your body perfectly like this, they just see the bag. But you could hypothetically, and I've done it in a video, is pull the trigger and shoot right through the bag and shoot right through your target. So let me see if I can give a better explanation, because I don't have the bag in here. But so in the video, I'm answering my front door to a stranger, and I have a bag across my chest with a gun in it and my hand on the gun, and I'm describing that if I don't know you and you answer and you knock at my door, I could have you at gunpoint without you knowing. So somebody's question is, they say, I don't think pocket fire is legal though, and they say, is it? Now, it is legal. There is no stipulation on you have to show someone that you shoot a gun. Like there is a thing that's called brandishing where you cannot legally display a gun in a threatening manner. You can't display your gun in a threatening manner without, being in fear of your life. But if you're in fear of your life, it's nothing that's saying you have to show your gun before you use it in self defense. So, pocket fire, which is meaning you're just firing from a concealed position, that's totally fine. You do not have to announce that you have a gun to somebody, especially if like if I'm answering my door and I'm holding them at gunpoint where they can't tell, and I see a guy run right behind the guy that's at the door with a gun running for me to kick him, push me through the door and get into my house. I don't have to show them that I have a gun. It's perfectly legal to shoot them or shoot at them without letting them know. It's like, I mean, that is the whole point. You don't want to be pulling guns too. I know it does stop the fight a lot. Like if you pull a gun and that could stop the situation, and I've seen that a lot from other people's stories where they never have to fire. But you really, if you're pulling a gun, it's because there is imminent threat of death, imminent threat of loss of life, and you should have already made a decision that you're going to pull a trigger before you even have to pull your gun or truly have someone at gunpoint. But yeah, you find shooting from what did he say? From the pocket, you find shooting like that. Uh, what else, y'all? Let me see what other questions. No light, no optics, slipping. Oh yeah, this guy in the funny video where I grab my gun and go after the home invaders. But I'm excited about it in the video. It's a joke. I really wouldn't be excited if somebody broke into my house. But the guy says, no light, no optics, you slipping. For one thing, I would agree on the no lights part. I think you should have a light on your home defense weapon. In the video, I'm using my EDC though, and I don't have a light on my EDC just because a light is too bulky to me to have on my EDC, and I'll be carrying in all kind of different uh whatever different attires, so it's hard to carry in certain things. Like if you're going out in basketball shorts to the gym, it's kind of hard to carry. So you need something really small, lightweight, and every time you add something like a light, it makes it that much harder. But for my permanent like home defense weapon, yes, I do have a light and I do have an optic. And if you do have an optic, I highly suggest that you have uh, iron sights as backup. Like I have an AR-15 that I keep loaded for the house, and I have an EOTech holographic sight as my optic, and I use it. But and I would not put my faith 100% in batteries. Like a lot of people will have a handgun, and they have the small red dots on the back, and you can't co-witness the sights, which is saying like you can't look through the red dot and still see the iron sights that are on the handgun. Now, something like that I would not recommend because anything can knock that battery out, or it could just die. Could have a bad battery, or you could have just forgotten to replace it, and you don't want to lose that red dot whenever it's time to defend your life. So I would not have no red dot without having some type of backup site on it that tech like can't fail. I mean, everything can fail. Like your sites could break off or whatever, but I wouldn't rely on electronics for a primary means of firing my gun. Uh, and that's all he said. No light, no optics. Yeah, and a light is very important for your home defense gun. Like you really want to verify your targets, man. John Willis, what up, man? You said, do you collect guns, and if so, old or new? Now, man, it's a good question. I never thought I was a gun collector I ended up until people started looking at my guns and being like, dude, you have way too many guns. I think maybe after like number 15, I guess I considered myself sort of a gun collector, but I still tried to keep mine usable. Like I feel like gun collectors are getting them just because they like the gun, not necessarily because they plan on using it for something. But all of mine have been for something that I thought I could use, like either for hunting or whatever. And you say old or new. I like both. I like my favorite aesthetically pleasing guns are like old school revolvers. Like the Colt Python is one of my top pistols for sure. Like I don't have one now because they say the newer ones aren't made like the older ones, and the older ones cost so much damn money, and they're not that easy to find. And I got a Ruger GP 100 instead because they say the way they make them now, Ruger GP 100 is slightly above. So I still like the old school. And like one gun I recently bought, this is pretty cool if you don't know, because I was getting a lot of guns at one point, and I used to have a sign on my truck that say I buy guns. So one day I bought one, and it was an old shotgun, and I would just sell them or keep some or whatever. And I bought an old shotgun, and when I went to the FFL to sell it to another buyer, they were looking for the serial number, and they were like, "Oh, this don't have a serial number." And in my mind, I was like, "Oh, damn! I didn't like check this gun, I guess, good enough to see if it had a serial number." And one of the associates back there was like, "Oh no, it's good. Like it was made before the year of serial numbers." And I think I had paid like $40 for the shotgun, and or maybe even less. I was selling it for like $80 or 100, and I was kind of upset that I was letting it go because I was like, "Dang, I didn't know that they had some guns that were just okay without a serial number." Well, I knew like muskets and stuff, whatever. I thought that probably was fine, but I didn't know regular guns were like that. So, yeah. So recently, I was at another gun shop and I saw this shotgun rifle combo. It shoots 22 long rifle at the top bore, and then on the bottom board is over under. It shoots 410, and it looked old. So when I picked it up, I was looking for a serial number. I didn't see one. I made sure that it didn't have a serial number, and I got it. So that's one of the older ones I got, just because I like the fact that you could still own guns today with no serial number. So sometimes I get old, sometimes I get new. I mean, if I had to say which one I really like, it's probably 50-50 because I like AR-15s, and I like, like Thompson submachine guns. Like I like all of them. It's really no whatever. It's just kind of like what I'm in the mood for or what I've seen somebody show recently. Like I like the newer. the older style with the newer like uh what do you call it? You know, like hand grips and all of that. Like there's a 4570 I want to get right now with the suppressor. That's a mean gun. So I like both. Uh, ooh, from Wani, what's my favorite weapon? Uh, my favorite weapon, 100% would be a shotgun. Like hands down, if I could only have one, it's gonna be a shotgun. I mean, if you think about it, like it's to me, it's great for self defense. Is the best at hunting. Like at least for variety. Obviously, like well, I ain't gonna say obviously because some people might not know, but you're not gonna like hunt big game in Nevada with a shotgun would be hard because you're probably gonna be taking shots over like 300 yards, and that's super sketchy with a shotgun. But anything under like 300 yards is very doable with the shotgun. But you can the fact that you can change shot from slugs to buckshot down to bird shot, like and the fact that you could hit a bird out the air, there's straight up like no other gun you're gonna do that with. So like if you need to survive and you need to get some birds, I mean the only way you're really surviving is with a shotgun. Like that is what you're gonna need. Uh, it's just so versatile. Like it really is, and you can get different gauges. If you don't like the kick of a 12 gauge, you can get 20 gauge, 410, 410. Don't kick at all. Like the fact that you can do so much with a shotgun makes it my favorite. And that was the first gun I ever purchased for myself. Uh, as soon as I made 19, that was the first gun I went get. It was a 12 gauge shotgun. I was waiting on, I mean, not 19, 18, on my 18th birthday. I got a 12 gauge shotgun. And one of the first guns I used to shoot, I think, actual firearms, like I had little Red Riders and BB guns and stuff when I was like younger than, I guess, 8. And when I hit 8, the first actual firearm I got was a shotgun. It was a 410. And I mean, at 8 years old, I was hunting rabbits, birds, and sometimes we'd hunt other stuff with it, but mostly rabbits and birds. And I was able to get them at 8 years old with a 410 shotgun. So, I mean, they versatile and it's still fun to this day. Uh, John, do I reload? Man, I do not. Like, I want to get into reloading, but I feel like, man, it's so hard for me to find time these days. It's just because, I mean, I still work a full time job on top of doing YouTube. So I really don't have the time, I feel like, to learn something new like that. And, and that's a lot of work. I do keep I got a 6.5 Creedmoor, and the casings are even expensive if you buying those, since they're like over $1 around the shoot. I keep my casings, and since I don't shoot that many bullets out of it, because I mean, it's only for long range. And like I said, when I'm long range shooting, I might spend 4 or 5 hours out there and maybe only shoot 20 rounds. So it's easy to keep the casings for those. Uh, and I plan on reloading those one day. But I don't even keep any other my other casings like 5.56, 9 mil, 380, whatever, and 357 mag. No, I don't keep any of those casings. But one day I do want to um, reload. And I've always heard too, if you're into extreme long range shooting, which I don't think I'm there yet. Like I shoot out to 1,000 yards, but I haven't even gotten past 1,000. But once you get to extreme long range shooting, I believe you need to reload. Or I don't know. I've heard that. Like you're gonna want to. Like you're only gonna want to trust yourself uh with your ammo. So not yet. All right, let's see. Another question. More like the safe one. Oof. How often do you guys defend your home? Man, this is a thing. I don't know if this person is an American. This is one of my videos where I show home defense tips. And they are asking how often, and this guy's name is Torture Bear. He's asking, or she, I guess, how often do you guys need to defend your home? Your preparation seemed to be for war zones, as your example actually is saying. I don't know why they say I'm. I'm not saying nothing about a war zone in there. I know my three tips were don't clear your home. Oh, maybe because I referenced this guy who went to war. One of my tips is don't clear your home. Like my belief is you get to a secure area. Like even if you have kids, you get to either a central area and you defend your home from there if you can. Like in my house, the front door is separated, or is more probably the most likely place someone would come in, or the back door, I guess. But the living room and the kitchen is all open. So I would, if I heard noises and I got, if I woke up before someone actually broke in, like if I could hear kicking at the door, I would wait inside the kitchen. And if I didn't have any kids, maybe I'd wait inside my bedroom. But um, yeah, my belief is it's not like clearing houses like you John Wick, like you know these rooms that might be empty, like you're going into or whatever. Like if you have kids, you get to your kids, or you have a muster station, or like a point where all your kids are gonna meet. They know, like, come here, or tell them stay in their rooms. Um, and I say that because I watched another guy who was Delta Force, and he talks about how they used to kick down doors and get the people they need to get. And he said one of the main things he says now in home defense is he tells his kids do not come out the room, and that's because he said during these war times when they're kicking in doors in the middle of the night and they're shooting up the place. Like he said, kids come running out of their rooms wondering what's going on or curious or whatever, and sometimes they're getting caught in the crossfire. And like his exact words are like, "I've seen millions of kids get effed up in doing this." So I'm sure he's exaggerating, but if he's saying millions, I'm sure it happens pretty often. So my tips were don't clear your house, find a strong point and defend that. Make sure your kids know not to come outside. And another point was keep your interior lights off and keep a light on your weapon or on you. Like you could do it like a cop where you have the flashlight and a pistol or something. But and the light is because uh if you as long as you especially if you have an outside light like me, I have a front porch, and if someone was to kick in my back door and you leave the front porch light on, the lights in the inside off, when they kick in the door in the middle of the night, they can't see, especially they can't see you if you're like crouched behind a table. The person kicking in the door, especially coming from being exposed from your porch light or whatever, and their eyes are adjusted to that light and they kick in your door, they kicking into a black room. Maybe they have a flashlight, but they still got to point that flashlight directly at you to know you're there. But you could shoot from a concealed position, basically. And if you watch that video, you would see what I mean. Like you could straight up shoot, and they wouldn't never know you were there. You're just concealed by the darkness. And but yeah, this guy still says, "How often do you need to defend your home?" Now, personally, I never had a home invader, but so many people that's not in the US, they don't practice these things at all. So I'm not sure if this guy is from the US or not, but I'm assuming he's from another country where this video just looks crazy to him that makes it look like we're at war in America. But I always just say this. I'm like, listen, it's not a paranoia thing like being prepared, having these plans inside your head to defend your home. To me, it's no different than having a fire extinguisher. Like you can have a fire extinguisher, have a plan, know how to use it, like the pass and sweep method or whatever, which is like pull a pin, sweep under the fire, whatever, pull, press, whatever. Like we all know how to do these things. But whenever we're doing it with guns, a lot of people think we're crazy. A lot of people that don't like guns think we're crazy. And a lot of other countries out there think we're crazy. But in reality, to me, it's the same as a fire extinguisher. Just like, not everybody's house is catching on fire at night, but there's still uh, a seam of need to have a fire extinguisher in every house, even though in all likelihood, your house probably will never catch on fire. And nobody looks at you crazy for having a fire extinguisher. But in all likelihood, your house probably will never be broken into, even if you live in America. I know certain neighborhoods are much worse than others, but likelihood is you probably will never need your gun. And I would hope that you never need it. But, having all of these things in place does not make you crazy. Uh, and it does not make you paranoid. It's just a precaution for if it happens. Like I say, just like you're not crazy for having a fire extinguisher, just in case your house catches on fire. Um, oh, John, man. Oh, my favorite holster, bro. I feel like the style of holster is more important than the actual holster itself or the holster maker. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. If like, what's my favorite brand? Uh, I man, the ones I use mostly because I go to the gym a lot, so I'm wearing a lot of clothing that's like I don't have a belt. Like right now, I'm in sweatpants. Like I have a lot of these, so a lot of mine are things you can wear without a belt. Like I wear the waistband holsters that just like Velcro across your belly. That's probably the most common I use now. But I also have some that's like I even have different type of guns just for like basketball shorts and stuff like that. Like, and I couldn't really say what's my favorite holster. Like the Kydex ones, if you have a belt, like the Kydex style is the most comfortable to me. Like inside the waistband, Kydex holsters feel the best if you're gonna conceal carry. Uh, and like I said, if you have a belt, but if you're like me and you go to the gym a lot or you do this or you do that out whatever, you just may not have a belt. That's probably just not an option. So you really have to learn all the different types of holsters. Like, man, I can't even tell you all the different types. Like recently I've even been trying to, or I've recently gotten one that's a hidden, it's not a holster, but it's a bag. It's a actual Bible, but it's like one that you zip up, like the people would put a Bible in, but it's actually a pouch for a gun in there. I mean, I would almost consider that a type of holster, just that you can carry, and no one would know you carrying. But like I say, it just depends. And that one I got for a specific place to keep it, you know. So sometimes you might have to get creative with what type of holsters you're using. Is really, like I said, there's no maker that just makes them all, like makes a holster that can carry all in every attire that I dress in. Like there's no holster that I could just be like, oh yeah, they make good holsters for basketball shorts, good holsters for when you're wearing sweatpants, good holsters when you're wearing shorts, long pants, suit and tie. Like yeah, it varies a lot. Um, hope I answered your question. Oh, you say, Lance, what's my opinion about the M&P Shield 2.0 for CCW? I think it's a top tier gun. That was the original Smith and Wesson Shield, and I want to say it was about the time when it first came out. This was probably like I don't remember what year, but that was my first carry gun. And the only reason I changed was because they started making these kind of half double stacks like the SIG P365, and it was the same size, but it carried what 4 or 5 more rounds or something like that. That is the only reason I switched. But that Smith and Wesson M&P Shield top tier gun, I would I would recommend it for anybody. Like you cannot go wrong with Smith and Wesson Shield, in my opinion. They're all good, and even the 380, they make one of the only ones that I actually like in 380. Like Glock makes a Glock 42, I think, and I have one. The thing jams like you really is finicky with ammo you feed it. But I had the Smith and Wesson M&P Shield 2.0 380, and it wasn't having those problems. Like yeah, I love the Smith and Wesson Shield. So top tier gun, can't go wrong with it. I tell anybody, go get it. I don't remember. I don't know how. I think they all carry the same now, like the Hellcat Smith and Wesson Shield, and the Sig P365. They all carry about the same. And if they made the 2.0 that carry more, I probably would have went again with the Smith and Wesson Shield over the Sig. I'm a little more of a fan of that over the Sig P365. Uh, dang. Oh, you say okay, Jimmy Cricket. What's the closest thing you can get to a Smith and Wesson 686 without it being a Smith and Wesson? If I'm remembering correctly, that's like a 5 or 6 shot revolver that comes 357 mag. I believe that's what that one is because I think that's the exact model I looked at. Um, I would look and compare it, but that was one of my choices when I went to get my Ruger GP 100. And the Ruger usually will win out in people's minds, and it's because they have like a double lockup feature. Like if you the cylinder locks up in 2 or 3 places, compared to like the Colt and Smith and Wesson. So I would look at Ruger GP 100. I don't know if you're looking at like 4 inch or whatever. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that's what you talking about. That 686 is a 357 mag. Uh, like I would call a full size revolver. But yeah, Ruger GP 100, Jimmy. Let's see. You say Masonic pinstriping. Where did the name Cajun Boy come from? Man, simple. I was born and raised in a small little town called Winchester, Louisiana. Like my town population is 1,300 people. Uh, it's just like what you see on like what's the name of that show? You know what they be? Oh, Swamp People. It's like that. Like we grew up where it's literal swamp and everything, and we always just all refer to ourselves as Cajun. Like now that I started YouTube, I see some people being like, "Man, you black, like only white people could be Cajun," and I'm just like, I never even thought about that. Like growing up, we all just call ourselves Cajun. We all eat Cajun food, crawfish, you know, like crawfish or etouffees and stuff like that. We all just fishing the same thing. We all eating the same type of food, whatever. So when we say Cajun, we all thinking like, like this is us. This is what we eat. This is our mostly that like our eating like boudin, cracklings. Y'all probably never heard of that, but and then the Cajun French thing, and that's us. Though this is where I grew up, and so we always, all of us considered ourselves part of the Cajun culture. So whenever I made YouTube or started anything, the first thing I was like, I got to include Cajun in there because, man, I'm from the country. I grew up riding horses, fishing, hunting, eating crawfish and stuff like that. And that's all I knew, man. Hey, Lance, if you ain't have boudin and cracklings, man, hey, you got to. Oh, you say you Hawaiian fisherman. I used to live in Hawaii for a little bit from 2010 to 2013. I was in Hawaii. And luckily for y'all, man, y'all don't have to buy a fishing license in Hawaii. That was the only place I ever stayed where I didn't have to buy a fishing license. It was super nice. Uh let me see. Let me look at some other questions over here on my thing, on my videos. And I appreciate y'all for joining. Really do. Let's see. Yeah, man. Lance. I mean, not Lance. Jimmy. GP 100. I promise you. Just look up like 357 mag revolvers. What's the best? I bet you if you watch 10 videos, like probably 8 out of those 10 are going to either say, they're not going to say Colt, even though Colt used to be the top. That was when they were hand making everything. But they're going to say Ruger GP 100 or Smith and Wesson 686. And I probably watched maybe 5 to 10 hours worth of video on the two, or yeah, and I went with the Ruger GP 100. And I'm not a huge Ruger fan, but mine is nice. So I always say that like Look up videos of real opinions. Don't Google it. Like, go watch someone who clearly shoots or clearly knows. Have a strong opinion and something to base it off of. And if it's a common theme between whoever, like I said with the Ruger GP 100, it was a common thing. It was an easy choice after that for me. Let me see. Dang it, I gotta get this to load up. All right. Oh, you say you lived in Texas, worked in Louisiana for 3 years. Oh yeah, man. I honestly like to fish in Louisiana and Texas a lot more than in Hawaii. Like, I guess I ain't get enough time to get used to the fishing style in Hawaii, and they don't really, yeah, in Hawaii they don't really fry they fish like we like to do in Louisiana at least. But man, like redfish beats out everything I've tasted from Hawaii waters, even though I wouldn't say I caught that much out there. Let me see other questions. Dang. All right, this is from self defense videos. Let's see. Question. Oh, this person. This is a lady. I hope she sees this. Now her YouTube name is Carol Owens 9589. She asked, "What do I think of the Smith and Wesson M&P 22 Magnum?" Now, I have not done no research on that specific gun, but with 22s that are semi-automatic, you really have to do your research. A lot of these guns don't feed well. A lot of them, I would say probably 80% or more, do not feed well. Like, trust me. I've had maybe, I don't know, maybe four different model 22 semi-automatic pistols. And the one I ended up sticking with, like, that I would actually like trust in life or death situation, is another. It's a Ruger. Uh, Crap, I just bought it. Something Model 4 or something. I forget. Oh, Ruger Mark 4. That's the only one that I know of that like people just really don't have problems with. But anything else, like, it looks like a normal standard semi-auto handgun that's in 22, you better watch a lot of videos on it. I promise you, those things jam. I think it's with the feed ramps on them. I don't know if it's because the rounds are so long and skinny, but I think they're dangerous, honestly. Like, and not they're just dangerous in a way that they jam up very easily. So if anyone out there like Miss Carol Owens here is thinking to get a semi-automatic 22 long rifle caliber handgun, watch a lot of video, watch a lot of people shooting it. And if they say they have some problems with it jamming, leave it alone, because you can find something that doesn't jam. Like, good guns like will not jam. Maybe one in every 1,000 rounds or something. But I mean, I have a lot of guns, and most the ones that do jam is I've heard people talking about it jamming up on them before they got it, or before I got it, or something like that. Like, it's pretty common. Like, if I buy a gun that jams up like that, it's probably because I got it at such a cheap price that I was just like, like, and I don't plan on using it to save my life. Um, yes, 22 semi-auto pistols. They are finicky. Find one that people are not having any problems with. Uh, what's a good starter gun for your home? Mm, Jaw Morant. A Jaw. Do you plan on taking this gun outside of your house? It would be if you would, I would recommend. I would honestly, I always say I recommend a revolver, like a Ruger LTR is a great starter gun if you're gonna possibly be carrying it in your car or something. Uh, It's a easy, very easy gun to understand. Because even if you buy it and if you just like the average person that buys a gun and then you don't go train with it, I'm telling you, the average person does not train with their guns. Like, I don't know how many of you all have guns here, but I guarantee you most people don't even go every 6 months or every year. And I would say something like that, like a Ruger LCR. You could get the 357 caliber because you could still shoot 38 special out of it. So it's kind of the same as having a 38 special version. But if you're only going to keep the gun inside your house, I would look for 12 gauge shotgun, like, and some with a short barrel, like I think is Mossberg Security. And it comes with like an 18-inch barrel. Or you could even, I like the new shockwaves. I think it's Mossberg also, Mossberg Shockwave. But for your house, you're not really going to get anything that stops another human being more quickly than a shotgun. So I would be like shotgun with buckshot. That is probably that's my number one if you're gonna keep it in your house. But if you even think for a second, like you may want to take it with you in your car. And one thing too I noticed, man, is I believe one of the most like common ways to get into a situation where you do need a gun is driving. Like, if you've watched, I have 3 episodes of uploaded in my playlist of people that have been shot and their stories on how it was, and they that shot someone in self defense and how that happened. And 2 out of the 3 that are uploaded were both in traffic from straight up from road rage. And I think that's one of the most common ways to get yourself in a situation, even if you're not trying, even if you say nothing to the person that's driving, it's a very common way to get yourself in a situation where you need a gun to protect your life. So if you're saying for the home, I always say carry if you can. So yeah, like I said, if you're gonna only put it in the home, 12 gauge shotgun, preferably like a Mossberg Shockwave or a Maverick Security, unless you got just a ton of money that you really don't care. Like money is no expense to you. I would go with a Beretta 1301 and or a Beretta A300 Patrol. And the 1301 is a Beretta 1301 tactical, I believe. That's the one I want. I'll keep hoping Beretta hits me up about giving me one. But yeah, those get expensive. They're like 2 grand. So most people ain't about to spend 2 grand on their first gun. Hold up. Let me see another. I gotta message my wife. Hold on. Um, you say you like your Winchester Defender for home defense. And what caliber is that? What is that? I'm guessing it's a shotgun, a Winchester. All right. Oh, okay. This is another question that somebody left me on my tips for home defense. And in this video, I'm already staged waiting for the person to that kicks in my door. And this comment says, I think I'm missing something. Where's a scenario where you know someone is about to kick your door in and you are already pre-staged behind the kitchen counter with a shotgun in the dark? I've heard this a lot of times too, where people just think like when someone breaks in your house that you won't have time to do anything except open your eyes and grab a gun that's under your pillow and shoot them because they're already in your room. I'm telling you right now, that is, I mean, you could think that, and that may happen, but I mean, if you just look at real case scenarios, especially like the 911 calls of people talking on the phone with 911, most of the time, I wouldn't say most because it's hard to get real statistic on this, but there's plenty of times where you know for a fact someone is coming into your house way before. Like I've seen one where, they're on the phone with 911 for like 5 minutes and the guy is steady kicking at the door. Like there's a lot. These people that are breaking into your house, they're not Mission Impossible. They're not going to drop down on a string like Tom Cruise and don't set off your sensors in your house or set off your alarm or whatever. Most of the time, they just like it's not nothing like the movies. I think the movies skew what most people think, and they think like you won't have time for this. But I promise you, especially if you have dogs or something, there's a lot of times where you will have time to prepare before they make it into your house. There's a lot of times because the people that are breaking into your house, or they're just like everybody else. They're not specially trained for this. They just don't care for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have good parenting. I'm sure they did, but they're not specially trained for coming into your house and getting in there secretly or anything. Like they make mistakes, they fall over, they make you wake up before it even happens. They set off all kind of alarms, red flags before it happens. And there's plenty of times where you will have the time to stage yourself before they actually make it into your house. Uh, oh yeah, I see, bro. Yeah, Defender 12 gauge. Like I believe the same thing, man. 12 gauge hard to beat inside your house. Like a lot of people argue about a 12 gauge being not good. Uh, I would hate to stare down the barrel of a shotgun, no matter what gun I had. If I'm within 50 yards, or yeah, if I'm within 50 yards, the most terrifying thing to me to stare down is a shotgun, unless it's like a 50 cal. But yeah, come on now, be realistic. But I mean, shotgun stopping power is like unmatched, and people don't realize that when you're shooting a shotgun, it's literally like you're shooting multiple, rounds at the same time. You are like you're shooting, especially like those 3 inch high brass what you call it, buckshot rounds, man. You're shooting like 13 9 millimeter basically size pellets at the same time. Now you just imagine 13 people standing there with each a 9 millimeter, like Glock 17 in their hand, and they all shoot at you at the exact same time. Like what that would do, that's basically what a shotgun is doing when you're shooting those high brass uh, buckshot rounds. So, bro, like I said, the Winchester Defender 12 gauge. Hey, people can argue, but they don't want to see it inside of a home. I promise you. All right, let's see another. I ain't gonna go much longer because I don't want to be on here forever. I ain't gonna go much longer than an hour. Plus, my wife gonna get here in a little bit. Uh, yeah, one man. This is a question I'm not sure if I can answer. This is again about staging your house for self defense. This person, Sean Fields 6414, asks, or he says he agrees with holding a point instead of trying to clear your home. What do you recommend to do if you live in a 2 story home and you have one family member that sleeps downstairs? That's kind of hard now. In my ideal, if the person that sleeps downstairs is old enough, which honestly, a lot of us are old enough. I've been, like I said, I got my first firearm when I was like 8, and it was a shotgun, and it was a 410, and a 410 loaded up with buckshot is still plenty to kill a human being. So if you're old enough, like let's say, uh, I don't know, 13 and up or something, like I would hope that you understand guns if your parent has a bunch of guns. So for like that person, if they're old enough, I would let them keep a weapon in their room. And I would tell them if anything happens, you get in the corner and you do not move from here. Like you do not come check on the rest of the family. You stay in the corner with your gun trained on the door. If you hear glass break in the middle of the night or something, or you hear some loud commotion, you do not leave your room. I do not want my child fighting to save this house. That's my job in my mind. And if I had a two-story house, if I can hear them trying to get into my house, I'm probably going to come down the stairs and stage myself somewhere in a corner where I can be aimed at the front or the back door, whatever entry point they might make. And if not, I would stay at the top of the stairs, aim down into an area where I could see them all. And again, like when they come, if they break into your house, I really don't think hitting them is that important. I mean, from the from the real life videos I watch, they run. Like people aren't in this not in a gunfight movie duel situation. Like they run. So I would shoot no matter what. If I know for a fact someone broke into my house and my kids are here, I'm going to shoot. So I mean, I would just blast, even especially if I have someone downstairs, like my say I have a 14-year-old downstairs, and I think like I know he should have a gun and he should be all right. And waiting, I still don't want my 14-year-old to have to shoot someone. So as soon as I'm at the top of the stairs and I hear that front door kick in and I see feet or something, I'm gonna fire. And I'm firing not really, not that I hope I kill them necessarily. I'm firing that gunshot is enough that they'll scare away, because from everything I've seen, that's what it will do. You know, like I promise you, these people are not trying to lose their life. They want your stuff. They don't want to lose their life, and they don't. I don't think most of them want to take your life. I think some people are truly just evil, and they just don't care about human life that much that they will just shoot you just to take your stuff. But again, it's to take your stuff. But if they feel they're gonna lose their life, that's it in my mind. Like, watch real life videos. Whatever you're doing, watch real video on this. Go to the channel Active Self Protection and watch real life video. All right, let's see. I think this might be the last one. Let's see. Uh, see another. Okay, another question. Okay, so this is a video where I compare shotguns and handguns, and that's where most of my views come from. And I'm on this one. I'm showing penetration, wall penetration, how you can basically choose how many walls you want to penetrate with a shotgun. Because some people are afraid that if you have to defend your home, you might accidentally shoot someone on the other side of the wall, which is very possible. I don't think it's necessarily a big chance of that happening, but it is possible. And the last thing you want to do is shoot at somebody that broke in your home, hit them or miss them, and the bullet goes through the wall. And even if you hit them, the bullet's still going through the wall and it hits your child or something. So in this video, I show that with like birdshot, which is shown that it's not very deadly to humans, but in close range can definitely kill you. But it won't kill someone on the other side of the wall. So if your kid's in the other room and you pull the trigger and you do hit your kid, like it can pass through one wall or a set of drywall, but it won't have enough energy to kill. So even if you did, like, honestly, the worst possible is you could blind someone. But even then, I'm telling you, they would feel a sting, but and it could be a hard sting, or maybe break a rib or something, but the bullets won't penetrate far enough. Like, they might be this far into your skin. But this person is asking me, what's the damage to a person from a handgun versus shotgun? Are you looking to kill or stop someone? And this guy is Juan Carlos uh, Arce, ARCE 5599. Now, uh, a lot of people look down on me for recommending a shotgun because it does do so much damage. It's really like equal to 10 people firing a handgun caliber, like a 9 mil, at you at the same time for every single shot of a 12 gauge shotgun, buckshot loaded. It's that's what it's like. And it's hard to imagine if you don't know, but that's what it's like. So, and he asked, am I looking to kill or stop someone? That is a, how do you call that kind of question? It's a question that they both mean the same thing to me. Because unless, like, I don't know a way to truly stop someone without killing them. Like, I'm sure not too many of us want to actually kill someone, but we want to make sure they can't kill us. And one of the only ways to do that is to stop them by killing them as quick as possible. And if a shotgun is the way you do that, that just so happens to be the way you want to do it. It's not that you want to kill someone, you just want to stop them from killing you or your family. And no matter how, and you also don't want to even gunfight. Like, you don't want to make it like, oh, they have a pistol, let me just use a pistol. You want this fight to be uneven. You don't want to give them the even chance of killing you. You want to be one sided. They kicked in your door, you know, they whatever. Like, you want this fight to be 99% chance, which still ain't 99, even if you got a shotgun, but you 99% chance or more that you are the victor. So yeah, someone that asks like, oh, are you trying to just murder someone or stop them? Like, there's one and the same thing. And if you get a pistol and you think like someone can't walk away or still return fire from a pistol or even a shotgun, you're crazy. Like, people can shoot. If they're high on drugs, especially, like, people can shoot from anything now. But I think the quickest way to stop someone is a shotgun round, a buckshot round to the chest or to the face if you could. But I would aim for center mass because it's a bigger target. Because with all that adrenaline, it's hard to get your aim. But listen, whenever I'm saying this, I'm not trying to kill someone. What I'm trying to do is save myself and or my family and or people, the people around me. I'm not trying to kill someone. I'm trying to save someone. All right. Let's see. Oh, here, Jimmy, you say you dealt with dumbasses that were trying to break into your home late at night, and it was pretty similar to what you said. Dogs were barking and could hear footsteps. Luckily, they didn't get in. Yeah, like, bro, I can't stress it enough. Like, people, the movies construe everybody's mind, misconstrue everybody's mind, and they think it's some other reality when it's always just the same thing. Just people that are doing these things are just idiots, and they're not special. They're not coming for you specifically. Maybe if you're a billionaire or multimillionaire, and they've been planning to come to your house for years or whatever. But yeah, for the average person, man, these people are just regular people just deciding one day, or they, sometimes kids deciding one day that they're going to rob your house. And guess what? They make a lot of mistakes. Luckily for us, they make a lot of mistakes. Otherwise, home invasions would be a much worse thing. Uh, what ammo do I use in my EDC, Mr. Nightmare? I use Lehigh Defense hollow point ammunition. I forget what, if it's just called hollow point, but if you look up Lehigh Defense, man, they have really good. It's all copper. They don't have no lead, but these hollow point rounds, they spread much wider than typical hollow point rounds. Uh, and they're, if you don't know, hollow point rounds can clog up pretty good. And once they clog, they won't open. So they'll just keep going. They'll just penetrate just like a full metal jacket round. So like the deeper your cavity is in that hollow point is the least likely that it'll just clog up from like even clothing. Like blue jeans can clog them and they won't open. And it was like I said, they penetrate way farther when they don't open. Like I did a video where I shot water bottles and I shot one through some sheet aluminum to show like a car door, and the car door clogged it. And when I shot the water gallons, the one that went through the aluminum first and it clogged, it went through like 5 or 6 water gallons. And the one that I didn't shoot through the aluminum first, it went through one, or yeah, one jug and stopped in a second. So I mean, it makes a huge difference. So uh I don't know if that's necessarily the best. That, in my opinion, that's what I think is. But you want something with a deep cavity that won't clog. I'm telling you, a lot of hollow points will clog just from a shirt like this, or just from a coat, like a winter coat, and that could be the thing between life and death in a gunfight, like just that. So just no hollow points clog. Lehigh Defense. I wish I could put it up here, but Lehigh Defense ammunition, and all of their ammunition is really amazing to me. Like, they have not produced anything that I was like, it's expensive though, but to me it's worth it. And I load all of my self defense rounds, not just like my handguns, everything pretty much that they make that caliber. I use that for self defense. Hmm. Thank you, John Willis. Uh, Red Cups and Conversations. What'd you say? Oh, I know who this is. Uh, put on that. How do you feel about FTX ammo? I never shot it, so I really can't say. Pretty sure that's hollow point ammunition too, right? And that's like, I think that's the one that they have the tips in. Let me see. Let me Google it so I know for sure. Yeah, I do have some Hornady actually. It's for my long range though. Yeah, that's the ones that have those uh like plastic tips in there. Now I also heard those don't clog. I want to do some tests on that. Um I mean, I think they're still good rounds. I mean, I wouldn't put them above Lehigh because I haven't Lehigh Defense because I haven't tested it yet. But I do have some, and I need to see if they actually clog, because I still think they'll clog, especially if you're shooting hard material, like when you shoot drywall and aluminum and stuff like that. Uh, I think they'll clog for sure. And I think anything will if you shoot something that hard and like that dense. But I want to see through like a couple layers of fabric if the FTX, that little tip or whatever, pushes in and still makes your round expands like it should. But like I said, just know a lot of hollow point will not do what you expect it to do. So uh I think, man, I've been going for an hour. I want to keep talking, but I think I'll be boring people that watch this video later. Let me go one more question. Let's see. And did you really think? Um, let's see. How can I get one for self defense? Okay. Now this is another video where I'm comparing shotguns to handguns. And and yeah, man, Mr. Nightmare. Yeah. Look up videos, bro. The stuff does clog. And I think the best way to get around that is those deep cavity rounds. And there ain't that many of them. Um, but on the shotgun versus pistol video, someone asked me, "How can I get one for self defense?" Asking the shotgun, because I'm assuming, because that's what I promote in the video. I say shotgun over handgun. Now, if you're out there buying guns, you probably don't know this unless you really like a gun enthusiast like I am. I man, 90% of the time or more, the cheapest way, and they all the same gun. So if you go to the gun store, you're gonna get the same gun as the way I'm about to tell you right now. But the cheapest way is first to find out what gun you want. And listen to people talk about the different types of whatever. Find out what gun you want, and then go online and you go to this website, and I can say this website, yeah. Go to this website, Ammo Seek, AMMOSEEK.com. This site does not sell guns. It just brings up. So, like, let's say you want a Glock 17, you type, you go to the site, hit guns, Glock, put 17 in there, and put search. It's gonna pull up all those guns listed online in order of cheapest to most expensive. And I'm telling you, it's the same gun you're gonna pay for in the gun store. In the gun store, you might pay $600, and going on this site, you might see something listed for like 450 or whatever. And I've never been able to get one, or only like once or twice using military discount. I've been able to get one cheaper than going to that site. But go to that site, it'll take you to list the prices. And once you go online, a lot of people also don't know you can buy a gun online. Super easy. I have a video, one of my most viewed videos. If you just go to my videos and press most viewed, not shorts, my videos, and go to most viewed or most popular, you'll see like my second or third video pop up, and it's don't buy. It's like something getting guns for the cheapest price. I'll explain how you purchase it, and I'll tell you short right here is you go, you hit put add the gun to checkout, and when you're checking out, you don't put your address as the shipping address. You put the gun shop you're going to send it to as the shipping address. And most of the gun shops already loaded in there. Most of them you don't have to call. But if your gun shop isn't loaded in there, you can give the gun shop a call, ask them if it's okay if you order this gun online and send it there. They are probably going to say, yeah, I never had one. Say no. Uh, but they might email you a copy of their FFL to send to the site that you're purchasing the gun from, and then you put it in, you pay for it, and then like 5 days later, you go pick your gun up from the gun shop, and everything else is the same. The only thing you do, you have to pay like an additional $25 or so for a transfer fee when you pick it up. But usually, I say probably $100 a gun doing it online, because in the gun shops they usually charging a lot more, especially if you got a CCW card where you don't have to pay for your background check. It usually saves a lot of money. All right. Uh, what else? What else? Let me see. Yeah, man, Lance, look at Lehigh Defense. I forgot how I learned about them, but ever since I did, um, they've been my go-to. And I see other brands like I forgot what they called, but you'll notice after you look up Lehigh Defense, you notice these other big brands have been buying their bullets and putting them in their casing and renaming them. Sometimes if I don't buy it online, you won't see it listed as Lehigh Defense in the store, only online. But in the store, they also using their bullets, and I forgot what maker it is, but it's a lot of these big brand names like Winchester and stuff are using these Lehigh Defense bullets, because I'm telling you, these are good bullets. And if you don't know what I'm saying just the bullet that comes out of the end of your barrel. And they also think they're that good because, like I said, they're repackaging it. You say I wasn't joking about the price of Lehigh. Yeah, man. They good though. They good. And I ain't no affiliate with them or nothing. I wish I was, but they're good. That is the best to me. And I feel like I've done way more research than the average person. And then red cups and conversations. You say, last question, really quickly. Which grain do you prefer for your EDC? Well, I carry 9 mil. Uh, what I carry, I believe, is uh 115 grain. Um, like, man, Lehigh got some crazy rounds. I remember they have this one. It's called a Halo round. It's a lighter grain. It's like 90 grain, but it moves fast. Like average for 9 mil, I think is around 1,000 feet per second. This one moving like 1,300 or something. So, but I carry 115 grain 9 mil hollow points. So, and that, but that's the common. All right. Yeah, right now you use Hornady Carrier. I think Hornady is probably the most common. But also, I usually think like the most common in anything that you find in a store usually isn't the best. But like I said, just look up Lehigh Lance and let me know. All right. Yep. This is my really like first live video or second. Uh, so I don't know how to end this. So I'm gonna just hope you guys have a good night. Thank y'all for commenting and being a part of it. I'm gonna try to do this more often. Yeah. Yeah, next time maybe I'll put out a little notification so y'all know in advance. But I really appreciate y'all, everybody who commented and everybody who's just here watching. Hope y'all learned something. Good night.